whose duty is it to send it out? Is it under the authority of the chairman of the commission, or is it under the statutory responsibilities of the clerk?
I do not know.
That would seem to be.
Patrice?
I would think it would be the clerks in the NRS. The clerk is the keeper of the proceedings of this meeting. It clearly states that she would have the documents, and therefore.
And I think that Elizabeth had some memories before. That's on fire.
I know just from my experience, we've never had any problems between the clerk's office and the county commission for years. So all of a sudden we have this difficulty, and I don't understand it.
That's because the commission has always been under the office of the county clerk and never had its own department since I've been here. Since I've been here. Since you've been here.
I have a former county clerk there that worked not only as a county clerk but as a staff member. I don't remember any problems. Donna, you might answer for me. I mean, I don't want you to get this quick. As you get older, your brain shuts down. So I don't remember any problems like this before. Yes,
I don't either, and that's why I have gotten to the point that I am confused, and so that's why I didn't like the stuff that was going back and forth in between the offices. I didn't think that was appropriate, so I thought if we brought it out so that there was a clear understanding. I'm not talking about monies or how big or how little or anything like this. I'm just talking about the process, and how it should be handled so that everybody understands how the best way it should work. It will work.
And I think from a standpoint of morale, because reading the correspondence that goes back and forth, it's not good for morale. And for the amount of money we're talking about, which is de minimis, to draw a clear line and say if the clerk sends it out, it comes out of that budget. If Patrice sends it out, it comes out of that budget. It makes it very easy. It stops the confrontation, and it's a solution that can.
Because the clerk's office is the keeper of the records. And if somebody comes in for copies of those records and wants it mailed or whatever, then that gets charged to her. That's where we ran into it. To her what? To her budget, not her portion of the budget in the office as far as the commission.
Correct.
I think Mrs. Francis just gave somebody to take that as a motion, solve the problem. It's up to Mrs. Francis later on in the year or whatever if we have to adjust monies for the postage. No one's going to go broke. No one's going to lose all their money. It's a matter of business that goes on every day in the county government. It's nothing that's tragic. I just find the animosities going on in this county right now are just absurd. So, Mrs. Francis, what was it you said? Whatever the clerk uses?
Whatever the clerk sends out gets charged to the clerk's budget. Whatever the Patrice sends out goes to the commission's budget. And as you said, if we need to adjust budgets later in the year, we can make that happen.
That's tradition in government. So if someone might want to make a motion to that effect as it has for possible action, and then we have that shut down.
Also move, you make the motion.
I'm sorry, that is not correct, and I'd like to say
I'll make a motion.
May I? I'm glad that Commissioner Carson realizes that the clerk is the keeper of the county records, and accordingly, since I've taken office in January of 2011, I have 13 letters, counting the 4 today, that have been presented to my office as a keeper of the records. That's $5.98 in postage.
But I'm not talking about money.
No, you're not. But I'm just saying, as keeper of the records, I have 13 letters that the commission has sent out that I have copies of since in 2.5 years. That's not good record keeping, in my opinion. Thank you.
I don't
think that's relevant.
Well, you have to
excuse me, I've called for a motion.
Okay. I would like to make a motion put forth by Mrs. Francis that if there's postage due from the clerk's office, it be paid through the clerk's budget. If there's postage from the commission office, it's paid from the commission office. And is that right? And that's the motion.
is considered commission or clerk?
The advisory boards used to come through the clerk's office, and the clerk used to also provide, if they needed people to do work, take minutes or whatever, if there wasn't anyone available. It just seems that this thing is snowballing and getting more ridiculous. The morale in this county, and I finally have to speak up, I'm sorry, is horrible. We're just fighting each other like mad dogs in a cage, and I don't care if you quote me or you don't quote me. I'm just getting tired of hearing this nonsense. We've got a government to run here. It's not a petty operation. This is a government, and we're becoming the laughing stock of the state of Nevada. So I think we better settle these little pity fires and get down to the business of the people. Since we have so many people concerned about the people, let's get down to the business of the people. So I have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. Question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Item B. Item B. Mr. Miller. How are you, David?
How are you? Good morning to all of you.
Huh?
This is a good morning to all of you. Item A I brought before you, it's within your packets. We discussed this a few months back that we were going to move this forward, which is the approval of the right-of-way grant N45224 renewal for the Baker Cemetery Road, WP, I need to correct this, it is 1100, a non-standard county road. This is a 30-year renewal. I believe it started in 1982 when they constructed the road. We'll be bringing this back in 1942 if it's, or 2042 if it's approved.
Good help.
Do you have any questions?
I guess it's non-standard because it's 50 feet wide. You're right away or what?
That's like a customary right-of-way width, Mike. Now, the shooting range road is a standard county road, but the shooting range road also has a 50-foot right-of-way. I think that's a standard, and I can ask a BLM representative if that's the standard right-of-ways that they give us, or that's what the original application was 50
Well,
feet.
normal right away is 60.
Correct.
Yeah. So the only thing I read in here was 50 feet. So is that why you're considered non-standard?
No.
It's just not built. Or gravel is better.
It's gravel, and it has up to the cemetery. It is built to spec, but we're also requesting the right-of-way that goes around the fence, and basically right now all that is a 2-track road, and I believe they put that in place so that they can do any fence repairs outside of the cemetery so they didn't damage any tombstones or anything. So that gives them the 50 foot outside of the fence to do any repairs if they would like to do so. So around the fence, it's not built up to county standards. No.
Any further questions? Entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. Make a motion that we approve the right-of-way grant identified as N45224 to be renewed for the Baker Cemetery Road, a non-standard county road.
White Pine 1100.
And
Yeah, 1100. Yes.
White Pine.
Very good. Second, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Have a second. Question?
Question.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Mr. Chairman, since the designation White Pine 110 is incorrect, I think you have to bring it back. That's not
We
proper
have to bring it
notification
back.
to the public.
Go ahead.
If it's 1100,
I'm
Big difference.
asking the question.
okay, thank you.
I didn't need to put that White Pine 1100 or 110 on Standard County Road. I didn't have to put that in there. When I put this grant, we're just approving the grants in 45224. I put that in there for a little bit of clarification for the public so they had an idea where the road was. Kelly can
That's correct, Mr. Chairman, and there certainly is enough information when we talk about the Baker Cemetery Road for the public to know what we're talking about, and that's the point of the open meeting law.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. There are 2 documents that will need signatures at the end of the meeting today so I can get them to the Bureau of Land Management. Item D, I brought this forward, possible approval to file with the state water engineer proof of beneficial use for permit number 71541, Lackawanna Fire Station 10-inch well. On July 30th, and I want to thank Elaine Blacken for all her assistance on these wells in their office. On July 30th, I received a phone call from Elaine that we had a notice, a final notice that they received on July 30th. And this letter is dated July 25th, which states, we need to provide proof of beneficial use on or before July 15th. So this is the second notice. I never received the first notice. Okay? So asking us to proof of beneficial use. Since 2006, White Pine County has been asking for extensions. With the NRS 533, it is still possible. We still have a couple more years that we can do this. I wasn't quite sure where we wanted to go. I mean, trying to keep an eye on these water rights. We have a lot on our plates, and we can't let any of these slip through. If we provide beneficial use, then we don't have to do this annual, every year renewal. I've asked for the assistance of Solaris. I apologize. And Greg, he had to come to my office about the dad that's hit. I visited with him last night. What we would like to do, and I also visited with Kelly over this matter before I came before you today. What we would like to do, because we have short notice, short time to get this done, I would like to ask for an extension. What we'll do is ask for an extension. I'll ask for his services to assist White Pine County with somebody that has some knowledge of water resources. Okay? Then within the next few weeks, we will get together. We'll get together with Elaine. There are a file in there on this water well dated back from 2005, I believe, 2006. With his expertise, we will begin working on applying for beneficial use. If we feel we have enough justification to file for beneficial use, we will move forward with doing so. If we feel that we do not, we need to do some changes, then he will advise us of what steps we need to take if we need to do one more year of extension.
Let me ask the question of you or Greg. What do they consider beneficial use?
Put the water to use as specified in the permit.
In the permit?
Yes.
And we didn't have time to look at the original permits.
No, I just wanted to make sure that was...
We have to have this to them, I believe, by August 15th now, or we're going to be in some trouble. So we have a short window to do so, and we'll work on this right away.
Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Can I make that motion?
Certainly.
I move that we direct the road department to file our proof of beneficial use not later than July 15th, 2013.
August.
I'm sorry, August.
Commissioner Foster,
How do I identify it?
can I clarify something here? What I put this on the agenda because I didn't know what to do at the time, and I had to have this on by last Wednesday, and trying to make the context that I had to make to get clarification on what we need to do with our water rights. I put the extreme, which is the beneficial use. Okay. We have in the past, last year, and I had Commissioner Lampros, Chairman Lampros, sign the renewal, the extension of time. We could do that on our own. I wanted to bring it before you. So if you make some type of a motion, I would recommend that you make the motion that you allow us to move forward with the extension of time, provided that we work on the application for beneficial use over the next few months. That's kind of what I'm before the board today.
That's good.
The letter from the state sounds like we owe them a little bit more.
Those are common. Those letters are common that they ask you every year to provide for beneficial use. But under NRS 233, we still have 3 more years that we can ask for extensions.
Would it be good then, effective to say that to make the motion to approve the application for extension process? That's
Yes.
what we need.
Yes.
With moving forward to, okay, for beneficial use.
Okay. May I try again? I'll move that we direct the road department to take all necessary steps to seek the approval of extension of time for permit 71541 in order to seek or approve up beneficial use at the Lackawanna Fire Department.
Leave that word, okay?
Okay, motion
Yeah, I'll
is
second
second.
that.
Okay, so thank you.
Question, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Did you have any other comments?
Not like this time, thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Romero, let's see what time. Oh, 10.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lori.
Okay, the first agenda item is discussion action possible approval to accept the EJC Foundation grant funds in the amount of $6,015. This is for the senior center, and the foundation grant was for a new steamer and a commercial toilet, and there is no match.
I just thought.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and accept the EJC Foundation grant funds in the amount of $6,015.
Second that?
Motion is second. Question, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item B, discussion action possible approval of funding to purchase a Dell 2155 CDN laser color printer in the amount of $433.19 for the county library.
Okay, back in last budget year, we started having problems with our colored laser printer. The 1st of June, it went down. The staff was using a DeskJet colored printer, which died about a week and a half ago, so now we are SLL. The colored laser printer was something we had put in our equipment request for this budget year, and all the equipment requests were denied. But like I say, we're at a point, we don't have one. And so my request today is if there's some kind of funding that could be augmented to our budget, where we can purchase a new colored laser printer for the staff.
Okay, Mrs. Francis?
I would recommend, as I had before, that we do a budget revision from books and periodicals in the library department to equipment under $5,000 so that she can effect this purchase. In order to augment the budget, we will have to go through a public process because this is a fund that receives ad valorem tax, and we will have to do a formal augmentation. So basically, I'm saying that my recommendation is that we do budget revision within the library fund.
And
So she can proceed to go ahead and
Absolutely.
okay, the library board talked about this last night. We will not take it out of our book and periodical budget. We are a library, that's what we're there for, is to spend those monies for materials for the public, not for colored printers, that's equipment. And our budget was already reduced below last year's base budget. So that's why we're here, because we're not talking a lot of money, but $433 will buy a lot of books.
Ask one question each. First for Lori, as far as not resubscribing to magazines and periodicals, that wouldn't provide the funds for you to buy the printer tomorrow anyway, right? You'd have to wait until you'd held back on $430-some worth of subscription. Is that correct? Or would you have the money available if you were directed to take it out of periodicals?
No, we would just make that request to move funds from the book and periodicals to equipment through finance.
Thank you. And Elizabeth, what other funds are available other than the ones you said that would require public hearing? Didn't we hold back money for equipment purchases, though we didn't authorize any in the individual budgets?
We do have money available in the information technology line for IT purchases, yes. That is to be a centralized budget that we are going to try and standardize equipment on. This purchase is being requested. There is a miscellaneous line item within the library for $900.
And that's both will fuel.
So
this is an emergency situation.
Yeah, we have no
We need
problem
to
for
prove it. Can we not allow her to proceed out of her budget, wherever you're moving money, to buy this printer and then go back and go through the regular process of putting money back or augmenting it from some other funds?
She does have $10,200 sitting in books and periodicals. You can move that money.
Well, on
Over.
temporary, my feeling is that we should do that, so that you can get your printer, and then we'll worry down the line here, not worry, we don't have to worry, but talk with Elizabeth so we know where we can put the monies back. Because you have monies in your funds.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not gonna mean,
Periodicals.
I know, dear, but what I'm trying to say, it's not gonna shut down your periodicals and books tomorrow morning where you don't have a printer, you need that right away.
Yes, we do need it.
Okay, but your library board said you were not gonna, you had given you direction that they did not want it taken out of that.
Not out of books and periodicals.
All right,
So we could take it out of the miscellaneous then.
That's bookmobile fuel.
all right, you know what, Lori, I will go ahead and personally donate this to the library.
And like I say, we're not asking for something just because we want it.
No, I realize that, and when we take a break or whatever, I'd be happy to give the library a check.
I'm on I'll split that cost.
I'll give you $100 towards that.
Are you guys making people like bakers?
No, I will also help, but it's not begging, we're just trying to do it the fastest way so you can get a printer. And she's got to do her job properly too. I mean, that's simple as that. You can't.
And I realize
We've already had some financial discussions, but she's already she's doing her job, and we're in good
Right,
stand.
absolutely.
But we're willing to donate to get your printer. Just order it.
And, and that's what I'm trying to do as a department head at the same time. And, something that I need to educate you guys on. Libraries are required to make minimum
No,
standards.
dear, it doesn't
And
matter.
that
We're
gets-
not criticizing.
But I'm saying that gets into that book and periodical fund.
Yeah, we're not criticizing, and we just want to get you a printer quickly.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
Then I move we table this matter for one meeting to see if the problem is resolved by then.
certainly. Have a motion to table, but there's nothing to table because we're going to pay for it.
Well, I mean,
Private donation.
Private donation.
Yeah.
I think we're.
So this
You think we're not gonna pay up?
Oh, I do. I will.
And we see sectors.
Just trying to get their calendar. I'm confident that we don't understand.
We can just leave this at discussion, then, if it doesn't necessarily have to have an action.
Okay, so I withdraw that.
Okay?
Thank you, Lori.
Okay, and then hopefully in your correspondence, you should have a copy of our financial audit from Division for Aging, which all was great. So, the opportunity to look through that too. Thank you.
Mr. Guard, look,
No, it's not in your packet. It's on this packet.
Mr. Guard, who's Paul Elaine?
Me again. I have 4 agenda items, and the resolution reading it may take a little bit longer than 5 minutes.
Okay.
You want to take a
Yeah,
5-minute
let's-
break
yeah.
before your public
Yeah,
hearing?
let's take a 5-minute break, we'll go into a public hearing at 10 o'clock, and then after that. Thanks.
Why don't you guys get out your wallets?
Why I was giggling about the toaster was when Lori said we didn't need a match, I thought if we did, I'd throw in the bread. That's my own little joke. Okay. I have to make up things to keep you going. 10 o'clock, public hearing on ordinance 450, bill number 07-10-2013, regarding proposed ordinance 450, bill number 07-10-2013. I'd like public comment. Yes.
Actually, I talked to Kelly Esper from the tourism board. You know, I think that the ATV, UTV travel and throughout White County is critical to our tourism push. I read this as I was confused, not to say that I haven't confused this whole meeting. Holy moly. Anyway, the ordinance. The ordinance. Going to match. The ordinance actually says, and Kelly, give me a little maybe clarification. Ordinance amended by White County Code by adding sections to the Chapter 12, adopting the Chapter 490 from the NRS, that designating certain highways within White Pine County for use. The NRS allows almost all other than undesignated. What I read in this is that if you don't want ATV, UTV travel on county road, you must designate that as a prohibited trail. Otherwise, you can ride it anywhere you want. The way I read this ordinance is that you're specifically designating Ruth, Miguel, London, Baker as places you can ride them within the county. Because it says, statutes on designating certain highways, then you go on to designate all of the unincorporated areas in Ruth, McGill, London, Baker. What is the rest of the county at? Kelly just telling me that he believes that the highway means paved, and that's what he's attempting to do with this ordinance, to do paved. But I think that it's unclear to me, I'm sure it's unclear to anybody that's going to be on an ATV or coming up here where they can or can't ride these, because the ordinance is going to say designated routes, and the designated routes are spelled out as those incorporated towns or unincorporated towns within White Pine County. That's it.
Thank you. Any public comment?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Spears is absolutely correct.
Could
The
you
inter-
state your name?
Oh, yes, Janet Little. The 490 allows operation of off-highway vehicles on any paved highway.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting. The preceding program was sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Local news telecasts can be seen Monday through Friday at 12:30 and 6:30 p.m. on this station.